Hey there! So, this time around, I had a little bit of cauliflower left over and I was craving thoda pav bhaji. So, I just went ahead and made pav bhaji. And Vishal will be the one who will be giving the review of how it is later in the video. So, let's go ahead and see how I made it. It's going to be a very easy way of making it. Mostly everything's going to be, put into one, utensil or like a pressure cooker and get it done kind of dish. And I have shown two versions of it. So one would be a without onion garlic version and one would be with an onion garlic version. In the without onion garlic version, I have added ginger though. So if you remove ginger, it will become Jain version of it, which is, if you like eating food like that, well and good. So you can just go ahead and make that adjustment. At the end of the day, food is something that you can customize to your requirements and your tastes. So go ahead, watch the whole video and let me know in the comments down below on what you like to add to your pav bhaji. So one thing that my friend likes to add is beetroot because of the color, but I left it out because I didn't have any beetroot. And let me know if you make it at home also and how it tastes. Let's go! I've chopped up all the veggies that are required. So we have cauliflower. I've just chopped them into small florets and then I peeled and sliced the carrots into rounds. And also I add a little bit of capsicum, but I cut this a lot more finer because it's easier to cook that way and it mashes pretty well. And what is pav bhaji without potato? I've cubed potatoes, peeled and cubed potatoes into small cubes. All of them are like nearly the same size so that they cook easily at the same time. And even the cooking process is going to be really easy. All you need to do is one whistle in the cooker with water and all. So I'll just show you how that also works, and that's it. I've just added all the vegetables into the pressure cooker and now I'm just adding a little bit of water so that the vegetables get submerged. You don't need to overfill with the water. It's just till the level of the vegetables or a little less than that is enough because you don't want a soup, you want a bhaji. And to this we will be adding haldi as well. So I've taken half a teaspoon of haldi and I'm just adding that and give it a good mix. Once it's well incorporated, you do not add salt at this stage because you want the vegetables to nicely soften. So you just mix it up and then close it and cook it for one whistle or probably two whistles too. As you can see, the vegetables are well cooked right now. All you need to do is mash them. You can mash them according to the consistency that you require. Some of them like their bhaji a little more chunky. Some of them like it nice and smooth. If you want it super smooth, you can always go ahead and use a hand blender. But I like it like half chunky and half smooth. So this is the consistency I usually go for. And when the bhaji is hot, that time itself I add a little bit of frozen peas so that the heat melts the peas. Give it a good mix. If you do not want to add peas, you can skip that as well. Now for the bhaji without onion garlic, you take a little bit of oil, add some jeera to it and let the jeera pop. Do not forget to add a little bit of hing as well. Hing is good when you are not adding ginger and garlic and onions because that imitates that smell basically. And let the hing pop nicely, so you need to hear that sound. Now I'm adding ginger and chopped tomatoes. So the tomatoes have been chopped pretty finely, and also the ginger. You can also use ginger paste. So let's give it a nice fry. For this, the masalas are going to be fairly simple. We're gonna have some coriander powder, cumin powder, red chili powder, pav bhaji masala, and a little bit of garam masala or kala masala, anything that you have. So kala masala is primarily used in Maharashtra, and this one is the garam masala. Now I add all of these masalas to the tomatoes that are frying. So you want the tomatoes to become nice and soft. That is the aim. So you add a little bit of salt to draw out that water. So this is going to make the tomatoes nice and soft. Give it a good mix. Let it sit in there in the low heat, so that the water gets drawn out of the tomatoes. And once the tomatoes are nice and soft, you can go ahead and add the masala. So as you can see, they are kind of disintegrating right now, and now you can go ahead and add all the masalas in that and give it a nice mix. Now you need to fry the masala as well, so do not add water at this stage. I know they say masalas can burn, but there's enough water in the tomatoes for the masalas to fry without burning. So once the masalas are well cooked and you can actually start smelling the oils of that masala, you can go ahead and add the mixture that we had made, the smashed or pureed vegetables. So I'm just going to be adding that here and give it a good mix. Let it boil in a simmer for a while so that the masalas get incorporated even with the vegetables as well. Now for the version with onion and garlic, I have some chopped onion and tomatoes, as well as some other half of the onion which is chopped, so that I can put it on top of the sabji. Now in like a tablespoon or 2 tablespoons of oil, I'm gonna add a little bit of jeera. So it's gonna start the same way as the other version. And let the jeera pop. I'm gonna be adding hing here as well, since it's good for the stomach. And once the hing and jeera pop well, you can basically add onion, tomatoes and ginger garlic paste. So as you can see, they are starting to pop. I'm using the same pressure cooker in which I cooked the vegetables, so that I have to do less dishes. Here goes the ginger garlic paste as well. I'm just going to be adding like half a teaspoon or a teaspoon of it and give it a good mix. Let's incorporate it pretty well and get it frying. So we're going to be adding a little bit of salt to this to draw out the juices of the tomatoes and onions, so that they can give out the liquid and fry well. Here we have the same masalas, but the double the quantity. It is dhania powder, garam masala, pav bhaji masala, Kashmiri red chili or normal red chili powder, and cumin powder. So I'm gonna be adding that to the frying mixture as well. The same principle applies here. You need to fry it pretty well so that the oils of the masalas are well and pretty evident, because you want to draw out the oil so that the flavor is nicely present in the pav bhaji. Now once it's fried, we're just going to be adding the mashed vegetables into the fried mixture. This is the same as the previous one, I know, but it's just the addition of onion, garlic and ginger paste that makes it a little different. And you need to cook this pretty well. Let it boil for at least a good 10 minutes so that the flavor is absorbed well into the vegetables and it's evenly distributed. And you can also go ahead and add like boiled vegetables like boiled potato, boiled cauliflower directly in this mixture instead of making it into a paste. Now we have pav, which I am toasting so that I can give Vishal. Vishal loves his pav bhaji, doesn't he? So yeah, we are gonna be toasting the pav in some butter, as you can see. Once it's nice and golden, I'll be serving the pav bhaji along with this pav only. And now I'm just gonna be putting it in a bowl. Don't forget to top your pav bhaji with chopped onions. So as you can see, I have some finely chopped onions which I'm just adding to the top of the pav bhaji. Followed by chopped dhania leaves. So coriander leaves is the flavor that you want in your pav bhaji. I usually add a dollop of butter on top because I keep the rest of the bhaji pretty fairly healthy. So it's a little bit of butter on top and also a wedge of lime so that Vishal can squeeze it on top of the pav bhaji. I like mine a little more lemony. And here we go. We are gonna be adding the pav to the plate. As you can see, it's well and golden right now. So that goes on. So we have Vishal tasting the pav bhaji. As you can see, he's just gonna squeeze the lemon. There is a little bit of butter in that. It's mostly a very healthy pav bhaji. So Vishal, what is your experience with pav bhaji? Do you like it?
Pav bhaji is like chaat in specific has a lot of nostalgic memories that I have. So back when I was in school, me and my buddies, after playing basketball, we used to go down to this place called Food World Chaat back in Chandanagar. After we play basketball, we go there on weekends and we basically order pav bhaji, pani puri, bhel puri, papdi chaat, dahi papdi and lots more. We were a healthy bunch, so we used to eat a lot. So given that pav bhaji definitely is also has a very prominent place in my stomach, I would say. But
Don't you have like a very different way of eating pav bhaji, like putting that?
Yeah, so I don't scoop it up directly from the bowl where the curry is there. So instead I prefer it in this way, like I eat it probably like a sandwich. So I just fill it up like this and then go for the bite along with the bread. So here it goes.
Give it a taste. How does it turn out? Oh.
Hot. I burnt my upper lip a bit. Good blend of spices, and the bread is also properly toasted, and the flavor is coming in really well. Onions, as usual, I like onions, and there's that light tangy flavor which is coming out of the lemon, so that I really liked it. And it's not way too spicy, because Rashmi likes it way spicy, not my level of spicy that I usually take, but this is the right level of spice that I prefer, where I relish and enjoy it.
I didn't take it very spicy today. I kept it like medium level so that you can also eat, and I kept Amma's the one without onion and garlic at a lower end of spice. So
Cheers.
I think now it won't be very hot.
Okay, so I will continue eating, and hope you guys follow what Rashmi showed at the start of this video, the instructions, and you guys also have a nice Saturday evening like we are having right now. So enjoy your weekend and have a great evening, and bye bye, see you in the next video.